gonna pull this up because I always forget.
Happy Monday. It is Monday, right?
Monday.
Okay, it's Monday. Yeah. Day of the week check. This is another conversation I've been very excited to share, Elizabeth, our special guest today.
Yeah, absolutely. One of my favorite people. I can't say in the country, I have to say in the world, because you're not visiting with us from the States today.
We have our today. So it is.
Oh.
I'm in Blaine, right?
That's true. Never
So,
mind.
but usually it's Canada.
Absolutely. You're usually in Canada. Okay, so that's true.
Yeah.
So today joining us, we have Deborah Stevens, Director of Brokerage Operations in Canada. We adore you, first of all.
I adore you guys. Like, mwah.
Love, and miss you so much.
How are you doing?
We're doing really well here. We're in our little isolation, little cubicle, kind of almost in Blaine, Washington, just by Semiahmoo. Went out for a drive yesterday, first time in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And for self-isolation, right? We're taking it really seriously, but the flowers are coming out. The tulips are out right now. The scenery is absolutely gorgeous. All the leaves are coming out, and the agents are so powerful. They are doing so many cool things, and they're so engaged with each other that it's, really with EXP, is there any difference? Really? I mean, if we get turned one way, we have to just get our bearings, and then we turn around and go, where do we want to go? Where is it that we want to direct this? And then the next thing you see this movement, and it just starts moving over, and we're back online again. Are you finding the same thing?
Well, you're referencing agility, right? It is so important now more than ever to be as agile as we can. And that is, we wake up each day and we say, okay, we're ready for it. Let's be active and let's get in there and dig in and know that we're going to have to pivot and be as agile as possible.
And that's why it's one of our core values. And I have to tell you, we do it so quickly. We don't even notice we're doing it sometimes. And what we've had is we've invited so many other agents from other brokerages in, and they're just like still at standstill. And we're watching them engage, and then all of a sudden start moving again. It's almost like there's that shock factor, and you're at standstill. Okay, so I cannot do real estate the way it was done before. Yesterday was before. And I have to figure this out, but I'm alone trying to figure it out. And yes, I can ask my colleagues, but we're all kind of in the same boat where if they come into our classes and they go like, oh my gosh, you guys got this rocking. You're bringing in the big speakers here. You've got something going on every day. Well, I can at least come in and take classes. And then from that, then other conversations engage, right?
Yeah, and there's a lot of classes and things that we're getting people plugged in. I'm getting plugged in, and I feel we were really connected before. However, I feel a sense of more connection, if that's possible, or if that even makes sense now, because we're forced, right? We're not running around crazy. We're not out all the time. We're sitting in front of our computers or in our homes, and we're engaging more intentionally and more frequently. I think it's nice.
Yeah, and I think that there's great leadership in this company. I think the execs leadership, but also the agent leadership, but the execs took it. As soon as they saw this starting to move in that direction, all of a sudden there was engagement in getting education. Dave just pivoted on the growth and giving opportunities for growth here. Stacy and all her operations. I mean, like, you take a look at what it takes to move this big machine, and they were on it way in advance. I listened to Jason, Jeff, and also Sam even, and you see all the things he's working on to help everybody here, and of course Glenn with his vision. It's like that never stopped. It just, okay, this is what we need to do. Here's where we need to go, guys. Let's take off. And if you take a look at, there was an example in business school, I remember, and it's Jacob's Ladder. And I always reflect on it because life is going to happen. It's just going to happen. And you have two choices. One, you can take the route that will literally take you down into a downward spiral, and you will be a victim. And it will be on your conversations, i.e. you go in denial, you deflect it all. It's not my fault. I had nothing to do with this. And it just keeps going until the finally part, and that is you resign. And you just go, well, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. And what I found with EXP is we took it in a complete different route. Life happened. This happened. There's nothing we can do about it. It happened. But then all of a sudden you started hearing the voices going, okay, what is the situation really? What is it really about? What can we do in this gap? What can we do now? And who's going to do it? What model for us of other people doing it? When have we done any of this before? When has this happened? And all of a sudden, you just keep going. You're accountable to what you say and who you are, right? So that's what I've seen happen.
Getting right into action has been not only what has been saving me every day is just get into action and get moving, but I'm so inspired by all of the amazing leaders around us that are doing the same thing. And that's how we continue to move forward and cascade out not only the confidence, but to know how to serve our customers, which is the most important thing.
And Deb, you're included in that leadership.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm humbled by that, but thank you. Yeah.
You really are. You're one of our awesome leaders. I mean, you're running Canada. I mean, that is huge. And it's been fun to see over the years that what you've been doing. So talk to us about Canada. Talk to us about what's going on, where we kind of the history and what you've been working on and what you've been doing, because there's been so much growth and success there.
Yeah, we're really excited. We just hit our really big milestone, and I announced it in our Tom Hopkins class. And I had made a deal with everyone. I said, you know what? I'm going to put some skin in the game. I really want to buy this Tesla. It's been my dream car forever. So 2 years ago, March 19th, when I joined into the Canadian team, and I said, so we'll reach 1,000 agents by March 31st. We will do this. And everyone's looking at me going like, heck no, we have 2 brokers and we have 2 staff members and we have about 60, 70 agents. And they're going like, I don't think so, Deb. And I'm going, yeah, we will. We'll do this. I want a Tesla. We'll do this. And that's my goal. So it's so funny. The agents have followed that. All the agents that joined us along the way have followed it. And we now have a staff of just over 50 in Canada from the 2 and the 2 from the 4. And we had just topped 1,000 agents. Now we did it April 1st. So technically I didn't quite get the car, but we did it April 1st, a few hours later. And the agents were so excited as we hit 900 that when I would go to visit places, this is about, and I say, everybody do it. Set it out there. If you have a driving goal inside of you, something that burns, tell people, because then you'll watch that they'll help you make it happen. So everyone, I get little love notes saying, hey, one more person is joining this awesome team. One more person is following along with EXP. And I get these notes from them. But this one agent who I went to visit his new branch office, and he said to me, he said, I got a surprise for you. And what he had done is he had arranged for his wife to bring the Tesla home from work early so that he could drive me back to where I was being dropped off to in the Tesla. And he wanted me to drive it. And I'm looking at the snow going, I'm a fair weather girl. There's no way. So I sat in the passenger seat, but that was cool enough, right? So yeah, it was love, even more.
Well, congratulations on surpassing the 1,000 agent mark in Canada.
Can you
well
believe
done.
It? You must remember. Do you remember when the US did that? What was it like?
Well, Elizabeth, you remember.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. It's funny because I've been cleaning up my office and getting organized, with our time. And I found the button that had 5,000 agents, which was cool because that was the first time we really made a big deal of it. But when we hit 1,000, it was surreal. It was like, there were 400 when I joined, and that seemed so big. But it's exciting, and just even for every one person that comes on, I get excited just because their life is going to be changed. Welcome to the EXP family, and it's so hard for us to explain it to them, but now they are going to be able to experience it and understand why we're so excited. So 1,000 is huge, and we're going to be back up on this, Zoom call down the road, and we're going to be talking to you saying, Dad, you remember when Canada hit 1,000 agents? It's one of those things where it's flying by. So
well, I want to tell you that we could never happen without all the great people from the US. Do you know what? Because you guys have given me guidance. You've given everybody else guidance. You know how many times I'm asking questions wherever we go. And the leaders are so generous, whether they be agent leaders, staff leaders, exec leaders. that's who they are, and they're so generous with their time. I know that I have picked the brains of so many great people in EXP and said, okay, so what did it look like when you were at 300 agents? What did it look like here? What should I be adding in? You know, all of that. And we've had that benefit. And the cool part, Jason said, was that we have done it in 1/3 of the time. It took what took 6 years in the US took us 2 years. So 1/3 of the time. And we couldn't do that. That's team. That's the whole team working together. And I can't tell you how many great people come up and help us in Canada grow Canada. So yeah, we're a team. We're family.
Speaking of working together, so we face challenging times right now. All of us globally. What are you feeling the most confident about moving forward on how everyone's working together and really helping agents navigate through these next phases that we're approaching?
Yeah, I think it's going to be broken up into a few components. When I first saw it, it was about, okay, let's turn on a dime. Let's get education as the foremost, because people are going to be at home. Let's get them into education. Let's start grooming the mind. And then what I've noticed and what I've recognized is they're still doing the transactions, and they're doing it differently. There's some areas that are our largest provinces currently, and they're essential services, and they're still out working. So I looked at our numbers, and they almost doubled in a week as far as transactions. So that was interesting enough. But I also think that the second part is going to be starting about now. And now it always was human to human, but right now when people have been self-isolating, self-distancing, we better be reaching out. And so one of the things that we've initiated is that we're going to be calling all the agents on a weekly basis, basically. And you cannot do that alone. You have to have teams doing that and finding out where they're at, because what we're watching is sometimes not everybody's engaging anymore. Yeah. You know, you've gone that 4 weeks, and now some people aren't engaging, and we've got to draw them back in. We've got to get their heads right, because now they're worried about other things. They always were worried, but now it's really coming out, and they isolate, and really they isolate. I mean, that they're stepping back, they're withdrawing a little bit. And I don't know if you've noticed that, but I think that's the next phase, is human to human contact, the conversation. We don't always know how many people or how many people don't have family close by. And we've just gone through a major, recognized holiday. And those people who have done that alone without any contact from other people, and they're not getting out, they can't just go and do things. I think that's going to be a concern right now. So seriously, for me, it's about re-engaging that part. And for that reason, that's one of the reasons we're doing the EXP Canada's Got Talent. We're trying to get them to at least vote. If they're not going to go do it, but at least engage and vote on it.
So talk to us about EXP's Canada Has Talent. What is that, Deb?
Well, it's the brainchild of a group out of Massachusetts of leaders. And they sent it to me and said, hey, Deb, you think you might want to do this in Canada? I'm looking at this going, oh my goodness. Yes, absolutely. So they're on it now. And you can go to EXP Canada's Got Talent workplace and go check it out.
I love it. I absolutely think that.
Excuse me.
Do your US friends get to come and attend?
Anybody can.
Okay, good.
And then apparently it will be all over the US soon. And I hope I'm not letting it out of the bag. And then we'll compete. We'll start going nation to nation. So that could be really fun. And then we'll go for the trophy like we did in soccer. What can I say?
We've already had the World Cup Soccer Championship in the campus in the World Cloud. So what's next? America's Got Talent. That's something I will not participate. I will definitely watch and vote, but you don't want to see any of my unhidden talents. That's for sure.
Oh boy. Well, the thing is finding these people in Canada. We have fabulous entertainers, people that are amazing, and they're posting now on Facebook, and I'm getting them to come into the talent show. And then we've got it's just fun. So it's just some entertainment, and it can be an agent. It could be their children with them, as long as they're part of it, or it can be a staff member. So we're working on that, and just try and get some lightness into it too, because fun is also another one of our core values, right?
And keeping morale up is so important during these times. Everybody navigates and experiences their own roller coaster of emotions. So I really commend you. And for those watching, to hear coming from literally the top of Canadian operations in the brokerage that you're reaching out and making phone calls and facilitating these types of fun activities, I think that's really important.
Thank you. I do too. Like, I know how much it would mean to me for somebody to reach out to me and just say, hey, how are you doing? And we want to create that across the entire continent pretty much, don't we?
Yeah.
I don't know how. It doesn't matter whether it's Canada, doesn't matter if it's the US, doesn't matter. Actually, the world, Australia, I reached out to Stephen and Adam and hey, when can we meet? And, you know, you can go into each other's offices and you can post a little note, and that might mean everything for them for that day.
Well, we talk about, and we've all talked about for the last weeks, get in touch with your database, check in on your people, make sure they're okay, make sure they're
Absolutely.
connected. That's exactly the same with our company, and that's what we're all doing, you know. And so, yes, it's important to stay in contact with our clients, but it's also super important for not only us as agents to stay in touch with our colleagues around the country and the globe, but also our leadership is doing that. I mean, that speaks volumes. Yesterday, there were some big storms that came through, and we all got a notice saying, hey, EXP's checking in. We know there's some big storms and tornadoes coming through. Are you safe? Mark yourself safe or not. Or do you need help? Mm-hmm. How cool is that? I could push a button. We were safe, fortunately, and I could say, I am safe. Great, we'll let the EXP team know, let us know. But then it also gives us awareness. Okay, we need to check in on our others that might not be safe. So I think it's awesome. Yes, we're checking in on our clients, but we're also checking in on each other. And our leadership is checking in on each and every one of us. Not a big blanket email out to, 28,000 agents in the US and 1,000 in Canada. We're personally getting calls. People are personally reaching out. That's a game changer.
Well, it tells you about what we want because we're building the company.
Right. Deb,
how you mentioned the real estate market has been surprising you. You're still seeing transactions and things are moving. Do you all have different guidance coming down or regulations coming down that changes province to province the way we do state to state? What I mean is some areas might be deemed real estate as essential, some might not. Can you talk to us about that and what you're navigating?
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to give a shout out to Ari on our legal team because he has been watching everything. He's working with every one of our brokers and creating all these great documents that the agents may need or the brokers need. He's making decisions for us. He is doing just an amazing, amazing job. And so in, like, say, for instance, in Ontario, it's deemed an essential service. Real estate is an essential service. However, in Quebec, you have a stay-at-home report that you must order, that you must follow. And they have police stops all along in all the centers, and you can't cross the bridges. And Montreal is kind of like an island, so you have to cross all these bridges to get to it from Ontario. And those are all closed off now. So it differs in each province what it is. And not everybody is working. And we're cautioning everybody to stay safe, to keep their clients safe. And they're working within those rules, but they are still working. And they've done virtual transactions start to finish. They're doing their virtual listings start to finish. They're still working. Mm-hmm.
Keeping that agility in place, right? As I was in a group recently on a social media platform, and there was conversation about, well, are we doing listing appointments with masks on? And I said, we're doing virtual listing appointments for 3 weeks, right? Like, we just get into virtual because it's 100% feasible. It works. And what we have found is that the customer anxiety level softens and decreases when they know that there's a plan in place, and that plan can optimize everyone's safety. And again, because we're deemed essential, we can navigate the process with limiting the connection, person to person.
Well, you're leading it, aren't you? You always were. And so your confidence level really tells to your clients, they can rely on you that you're going to lead them through it. safely.
Elizabeth in Austin and the Funks in Orlando, we're on date. Do you know the day, Elizabeth? It's 34. 34 days.
I thought it was next day, the other day. You know, when I read that, it's no longer Monday to Friday or Sunday. It's next day, the other day, tomorrow. You know, yeah.
Yeah. Not that anyone's counting.
Don't even follow, but we're staying home too. I mean, like 30 something days. But yeah, it's business as usual. I mean, not as usual, but as usual, right? We're still being able to serve our clients. And I think you nailed it when you're talking about the confidence. When we have a plan and we can share that plan with our clients confidently, okay, this is what we're going to do. And any questions that come up, we already have the answer. It does make them more confident. It makes this a little bit less uneasy for them, just knowing that we're doing what we need to be doing to take care of them. And I've noticed that a lot. I mean, a lot of my clients are much more comfortable now. Okay, let's get on a Zoom. Let's do this. Let's discuss this. And they already know that we already have a plan in place instead of us being reactive. So I think being proactive has been really a big key.
That's huge. And both of you do such large volume of business that, you know, listening to you say that, that's really huge. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, thank you. We feel the way we do because we're supported by the amazing leadership that we have, which again, right here, so grateful for you and everyone on the leadership team. So Deb, what has been something that has surprised you in your time that you've been pouring in, and we're so grateful for what you've contributed as an EXP Realty leader? What has been something that surprises you about working in a cloud-based environment?
That I can actually move around it really easily. I sometimes go into walls and things like that, but nobody cares. And I also learned that you can get a bot now. And no, seriously, what I've learned about is that working inside of the environment, when you meet the person in real, after you've worked with them as an avatar and you've talked to them before, they don't look any different, and the conversation never slows down a beat, does it? And that was my big aha when I went to the first conference. When I got in the room of everybody together and I started putting their voice, I could, if I closed my eyes, I could know who it was I was speaking to. And then all of a sudden I'd look up and I'd go like, wow. And then it never stopped, never skipped a beat. It's real. You become your avatar, literally. It's crazy.
That was the weirdest thing. One of the first conferences I went to, and I would recognize voices, and none of us knew anybody yet, you know, because that was the first conference. And it's a very cool feeling. It's you don't skip a beat. You pick up where you left off, and you may have never met them. A lot of times though, I forget if I've met somebody or not. I feel like I already know them. So they'll say, oh my gosh, this is the first time we met. Really? Are you sure? You know, because it seems like you go way back. So I don't even know who I've met or who I haven't, because I've been in a class with them. Or, I mean, it's funny with the Canadians, because I love coming up there. I'll come up there and teach to the Canadians.
I know, we love that when you do that. That's so awesome. I love
it. I'm like, oh, hi, I'm in Canada while I'm sitting in Austin. I mean, it's just the coolest thing. But when I was at when we went to the last event and y'all had the Canadian jerseys, remember, I felt a little left out because I felt like I needed one of those jerseys.
Well, yeah, and you know what? That's the #1 complaint that we get is that, well, we want one too. And we're going like, well, we get the rink in the world, when we get the ice rink in the world, then we can all have them, right? Like,
I was a little jealous, but it was funny because I'd never met any of them face to face, although I felt like I knew them. So it's a great feeling. It's one you can't explain, but yeah.
Well, even when we had Tom Hopkins in the Canadian auditorium last week, was there, I think we had over 400 agents that came together to listen to Tom, who we just adore. I mean, let's just say that here. We adore Tom Hopkins, and that I got to go to Canada and attend Tom Hopkins class with all my fellow Canadians. We have an
auditorium now too, yes.
Right? I love it.
But isn't it fun? And wait till we can do that, you know, with UK classes. You have to go really early in the morning because I've been attending them. But how much fun is that when we can go and say, hey, you guys are not separated by this big distance of water and time. You really aren't. When you're in EXP, we can just hop into your class. We can support you because really they talk about the same things that we do, right? And it separates, there's some methodology in it that might be a little bit different, but the actual the actual conference of having these conversations of what do you do with your clients? How do you build a better database? How do you respond to people are people, doesn't matter what country.
Yeah.
So we could learn a lot by just even hanging out, and we can. We're the only company that can say, and we can.
Yeah.
We
That's
do.
powerful.
And we do. I love it.
With Canada, what's on the horizon? Do you have, benchmarks you're trying to hit that you can share, or do you have a big plan for 2020, even though
We do.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. What can you share with us? I know.
So the number one is, I truly believe that it is possible for us to, at the very minimum, to double in size still between now and the end of December. I think it's really doable. And the second thing is that I really believe this class that I'm going to be teaching, I'll start it and then we'll be sharing it out across Canada on how to work inside of Canada with growth and attraction, and what the difference is, because not many people know that our federal compliance for certain things is so extreme that when they come in to do attraction from the US, they may not know that they're putting themselves, their country, and our country all in jeopardy with things like our do not call list, which our do not call list fines, and it's their source of income. The CRTC is one of the big sources of income. So if you make calls into Canada for attraction, you're classed as a telemarketer. And when you do that, if you are not following the rules and regulations and they investigate you, they get a complaint. Everything's done on complaints. If they get a complaint, and then all of a sudden they go, well, look at this person who is calling in Canada. Let's trace that number back. And it comes up to somebody in, say, in the US. Well, you've now involved the US as well as Canada, because the CRTC in Canada contacts the governing body in the US, and they all work on it. But in Canada, if it's a Canadian calling to another Canadian, they're a telemarketer too. And first they have to have scrubbed it against the do not call list, which costs us about $130,000 a year so far, every year. That's what our do not call list costs. And they only get their province, because that would be a whole lot more. So they would have to scrub it. They have to keep it for 3 years and a day. So the rules don't change for the US. You have to scrub it, keep it 3 years and a day, and you have to subscribe to it. So things like that, I think that once we start clarifying this out, we're going to keep everybody safe. That's my biggest concern, is that it's not good for a family. So I didn't tell you the numbers. So every instance, and there could be like 5, 6 instances in one call, is $1,500 to the agent, $15,000 to the company. And they can investigate as far back as they want to go. So, wow, right?
Yeah.
That's why it's so important, Deb, that it goes back to Glenn Sanford's original mission and vision for our company, that our company is going to grow based on relationships, right?
Absolutely.
Based
Attraction, not recruiting.
Exactly. I say it all the time. There is a big difference. People are like, are you a recruiter? No, I'm a real estate agent. I have a real estate business, and I may attract amazing talent because I'm building a big business. But that's why, I mean, if we just stuck with Glenn's vision, that it's all about who you know and who you've done business with and who you have a relationship with, then a lot of those issues you're talking about go away. I mean, those are big fines.
Big numbers, big numbers. And that's the last thing that an agent who's really just trying their best to figure this all out needs. So hence the course. Jason asked me to write a course, and we're about 95% with the 99% with the format of it, 95% with getting it ready to teach. The COVID, of course, took a priority, and now we're back ready, and that should be coming out pretty soon. So watch for it. Love to have you there. And those are kind of things that we could teach between the two countries, right? We could both stand there and say, okay, so here's what's normal for us. What's normal for you? And then once we have that ability to learn it all and then to figure it out together. I had a group that was coming up and spending their own dime to come up and teach classes for their agents that they had sponsored in Canada. And they were advertising in such a way that it wasn't really working for us. And our agents said, whoa, stop. Let's figure it out how we can do this. And they did figure it out. And I was just so proud of the Americans and the Canadians working together to figure that out. It just made the whole world different.
Right.
Well, and I think it's just notable that we are collaborating at such a high level, in whether it's agents from the US, agents in Canada, even if we look at the way we're collaborating on how we can best serve our customers, how we can navigate these times, that the key is that we are collaborating, that we are elevating the service that we have, because we have an ability to log onto our computer and go and collaborate with 400 agents from Canada just because it's 5 o'clock on Tuesday night and there's a class available, which that is what it's about, right? It's about elevating the way that we navigate our business together for not only the agents, but for the customers.
Absolutely. It's for everyone. And I think that sometimes you don't always get the right people to attend the classes, right? But when we're working on it, and we're working together, we can attract those people in, and pretty soon it becomes a movement. This is how we do it. After about 6 months or 7 months, all of a sudden you notice that everybody's doing it differently. Everyone's working on this communication. Everyone's saying what they feel and how they feel. So it really, we are a team. We may do things a little bit differently, but we are one team.
We are grateful for that.
And I think even though you do things differently, you can learn from that. Right? Just because somebody does something one way, I say that all the time when I go to classes, from people all over the country. Just because I'm doing it one way doesn't mean that there's not a smarter, better, more efficient way that I never thought about, right? That I could implement into my business. So I think that's super huge. That's what the power of collaboration, if you will, and those aha moments that come out of it. So I love that the two countries are communicating and collaborating in such a way, because we might be doing things differently than you guys are, and wow, we could do something a little bit more efficiently for both countries.
I think it's amazing. And I think when the other two countries open up, we'll have paved the pathway there.
Absolutely. Can't wait for that.
Make it easier for everybody to fall in line. Yeah.
We've been asking 2 questions from all of our guests. Get ready, because they're good ones. We're not going to stump you, but I'm really curious what you're going to share. The first question is, we know that a popular hashtag EXP agents use is hashtag EXP Realty Proud. What are you most EXP Realty proud of?
Oh, good question. So many things just flashed in my head right at that moment. You know what? I think it goes down to the real grassroots. I am so proud that we had someone who believed in himself and believed in every agent so strongly that he gave the power to all the agents to build something as cool as they possibly could ever imagine. And then he gave the vision that we could take upon that vision and build it even cooler. He spreads that leadership out everywhere. And I am so proud to be in business with Glenn. I think that that's probably one of my biggest ahas. I've known him since 2004. And when we spoke again and had coffee together, when I came up to help 2 agents, open up BC. And that's how we met again. He goes like, I know you. And we started talking about it. But his vision and how clearly he can think, I am so proud of that, because then he empowers everybody. Yeah, no.
It's emerging organization, right? I love that.
It is, but it was he had such clarity in it, and he actually made it. One of the books he told me to read was Holacracy, that he actually, you probably remember that he really spoke highly about the opportunity to build in teams and to grow like a city grows rather than a top-down mentality. And I embraced that. We went to see Zappos. They're a teal organization in Holacracy. And I took 70, 80 of our agents with us and staff. So we've brought that back to Canada. And that's how we work a lot. They've done an awful lot. The agents themselves found their own healthcare, extended healthcare benefits plan and put it together. They interviewed everybody, did that. They found their own charities, and as well as what the US has, we've actually got the parent company so that our guys could get tax write-offs, but they're still part of the same thing. Plus, then they have 2 other charities. They founded those. They looked for them. Not me. I could not do this alone. I've literally, stood on everybody's shoulders to get everything done. They've created this, but it all hinged from Glenn's mentality, how he thought about it, right?
Yeah. One idea has changed lives for many.
Mm-hmm.
So
That idea. How cool.
One idea. Yeah.
And the second,
okay.
you're going to ask the second one, right, Elizabeth?
Oh, I was going to ask the second question, but okay.
No, you go.
3 words that describe EXP to you. Only 3.
Only 3. That's a tougher one. I think it's I love you. And the reason I say that is because that's how we feel about each other. And we're doing real estate. That's what we do as a living. But if we didn't have this strong love for each other, we would not be building this movement that we've built. I just got goose chills. So
you get me chills, Dad. That's awesome.
Well, I love you
love
too, like
it.
sisters. My gosh, right? We pick up wherever we left off, and that's what you see everywhere you go, and that's what it is.
That is definitely at the top of one of my favorites for 3 words or less. I love it. I love you.
That's not, none of our conversations or our mindset has gone there. And that's why I'm just kind of speechless going, wow, that really sums it up really well. I love that.
Yeah.
Deb, I know that you're super busy, and thank you for sitting down with the 2 of us to share a conversation. We appreciate you.
And congratulations on the amazing growth and success that Canada's having and being a part of it. So we are so blessed to be in business with you and know you, and thank you.
Well, thank you for inviting me, and I just had a ball. Thank you so much.
We're going to see you very soon because we're coming to visit you.
Absolutely.
That's on our list. So we're going to make it happen one of these days.
Well,
but if we
now that you are, absolutely.
If we come, we're going to need a jersey though.
Oh, well, there you go. There you go. I'm telling you, we've got them.
Renee drives a hard bargain. I'm just saying.
She is tough. She's a tough one. Yeah.
All right. Well, take care, Deb.
Bye.
Bye, ladies.